What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a interesting video for you. We're going to be comparing Tirana and Shkodra in terms of what is the better first stop for you as a tourist. Let's jump right in.
We are going to be talking about the advantages of Tirana and Shkodra from a tourist perspective, so that you can make up your own mind about which city you would like to visit first.
So first up, we're going to be talking about Tirana, the capital city. Tirana, in comparison to Shkodra, is a much bigger city in terms of land mass. So firstly, what you can be thinking about in terms of size is it's going to provide you with a lot more space to move around, a lot more things to see, monuments to see, different streets to explore, etc, etc. So number one of the advantages that goes towards Tirana, or the capital, is its size advantage over Shkodra. The next advantage to consider about Tirana as being your first stop when you come to Albania is that there's more people to connect with in Tirana, and we certainly saw that when we spent 1 month continuously in Tirana. We met so many people, so many different subscribers, Americans, Canadians, Germans, they're everywhere in Tirana, so you definitely will never be short of people to meet for coffee or just meet up for a chat and network with while you're in Tirana. So that's definitely another advantage for Tirana. The next advantage that we're going to touch on today for Tirana is that there's simply just more restaurants and cafes for you to explore and for you to try out. There's plenty of different cuisines that you can find. Like, for example, we found a lot of new sushi restaurants around Tirana, and that was a huge plus for us while we were in the capital, because we love Japanese food, we love spicy food, and we love mixing a lot of different cultures because we are travelers. So we do travel the world, and this is what we love to do, and we love to try all different types of food. So that's a huge plus about Tirana, is that you never run out of options really for things like restaurants, things like cafes in general. Now, another big advantage about Tirana, it could be an advantage or it could be a disadvantage. This is all personal opinion here, of course, and this is kind of just to give you guys an idea of the difference between these two cities, Tirana and Shkodra. But basically, another advantage for us anyways is that Tirana feels like a city that has this big city feel to it. You have a lot of tall buildings, a lot of busyness going on. You see the people moving, going about their daily lives every day, and it kind of gives you that feeling that you are in a city environment. And as I said, for some people they love it, and for some people they hate that and they would much prefer to be in a more quieter environment. But for us in Tirana, that's definitely something that we found that kind of stuck out, and it gave us a different perspective, a different experience, and it felt like you were in a thriving city environment. Now, another great advantage about Tirana, if you're coming as a tourist or even as a local, is that there is an incredibly good bus system integrated into Tirana. It's very easy to navigate if you understand how it works. And you can get around in Tirana very freely. You don't have to rent a car in Tirana, whereas outside of Tirana you might feel more of a need to rent a car because of the lack of buses. In Tirana, it's quite the opposite. You have a wide range of bus options. You can go outside of the city to anywhere you want. There's TEG, which is like a large shopping center. There's plenty of things like cinemas and things outside Tirana where you might want to go, and just so you know, there is buses everywhere in Tirana that will take you there. Now, the final advantage that I'm going to touch upon here for Tirana's favor is that you're never going to be bored in Tirana. There is so many different things that you can be doing while you're in the city of Tirana. There's the bunk art. There's bunk art 1 and bunk art 2. Bunk art 1 is the bigger sized one that's a little bit outside of the city itself. Bunkar 2 is more directed in the center of the city around Skanderbeg Square area, and it's a little bit of a smaller, more unique experience. You have Daiti Mountain as well, the Daiti Mountain Express, where you can take the Balkans' biggest cable car all the way up to Daiti Mountain and have an absolute ball up there. You have amazing restaurants, you have shooting ranges, you have horseback riding, you have lots of different activities. Even we saw people paragliding up in Daiti Mountain during the summer of 2021. So you're never going to be bored when you come to Tirana. There's also plenty of museums as well scattered around Tirana. You have the House of Leaves, which we just discovered actually on our last day before we left Tirana. It's basically a surveillance museum. Gives you the feel of what it was like when Albania was under communism. You have the National History Museum. So guys, you're never going to be bored in Tirana, and that's a huge plus about the city.
Now, let's talk Shkodra. Our very first advantage is the setting of Shkodra and its absolutely beautiful nature. No matter where you go in Shkodra, you will always be able to see the snow-capped mountains of the Albanian Alps, for example. There's loads of lakes, you have rivers, and just in general, so much nature. If you are more of a nature type of person, like myself, and I think like Luke as well, you will definitely love it here. No matter where you look, there is just so much awesomeness in nature. The next advantage is that Shkodra itself seems to be a little bit more of a more authentic Albanian experience. Not that Tirana is not authentic, it's just that in Tirana you will see lots of like westernized chains as well. So you do have kind of a Burger King, you do see like KFC, and you have a lot of other chains that are, I think, Albanian. So like Muliri Vjeter, for example, is Albanian. Whereas in Shkodra itself, you don't see any chains. So there's no Burger King, there's no McDonald's or Starbucks even, and even the Albanian chains, you won't find them here. So everything that you get in Shkodra is really, really local. All of the places that you can find here when you walk around, they're like a once-off, they're all like original, and they seem to be doing their own kind of Shkodra culture thing. So it's really, really nice here. You don't get this type of experience anywhere else. Everywhere else we went in Albania, you kind of found all of the chains as well. This is the first place actually where there's no chains at all. Now Shkodra in general has a very, very relaxed and kind of slow pace of life. So if you compare it to Tirana, Tirana is obviously, it's a big city, so there's going to be lots of life and lots of things happening all around you and a lot of traffic and whatever. And Shkodra, I mean, there are things happening, but at a way slower pace. So if you do come to Shkodra, you kind of feel like, oh, I can breathe, you know, it's a lot slower. You're kind of forced to be in the moment and actually relax. If you want it or not, that's automatically what is going to happen to you if you come to Shkodra. So if you do have, for example, a large project that you want to work on, such as like writing a book or whatever it might be that you are working on, creating a new website, Shkodra is the place to do that. The next major advantage of Shkodra is the cost of living here. Especially if you are kind of a low budget traveler or maybe a younger backpacker, or even if you're an older backpacker and you just want to do a little bit of budgeting, Shkodra is the place to be. If you look at Airbnbs, or maybe if you were looking at hotels on booking.com as well, I'd say accommodation is around 25 to maybe 40% cheaper in Shkodra than it would be in Tirana itself, for obvious reasons. Tirana is a large city, it is the capital, and Shkodra is a smaller city in the north. So there is, I think, a little bit less demand here than what it would be in Tirana. So obviously it's cheaper. The same is for food. I think since we arrived in Shkodra, we probably cut our costs for food in half. I don't know if we maybe changed something about the way we're eating, but probably not. Like, we live the exact same way that we lived in Tirana as well. So we are still cooking and we're also going out to restaurants. And life seems to be, just in general, very, very cheap here. The next advantage on our list is the air quality in general. Obviously Tirana is a larger city, so you do have a lot of traffic, and therefore the air quality is a little bit less than it would be, for example, in Shkodra, in the north of Albania. Every time you open a window here or you walk outside, you can really smell that like fresh mountain air that is coming down from the Albanian Alps because of where it is located. I was actually telling Luke the other day, every time I open the window at the moment, because it is still kind of winter time and you still have a lot of snow in the Alps, every time I open the window, I just kind of take a deep breath and then I'm like, Christmas. It just smells like, you know, it's that time of the year where it's going to be snowing very, very soon, you know, like that really fresh, crisp air. And that's just what it is like here at the moment. Also, if you are more of a nature person, you will have the chance here to go hiking for weeks if you want. Like obviously not in Shkodra itself, but a little bit outside of Shkodra, that's no problem at all. You can do all of the hikes of your life basically in this area. The next advantage is where Shkodra is located. So Shkodra is basically located in between Shkodra Lake, the Komani Lakes. Obviously you have Teth and Valbona here in the north, and then you also have Velipoja, which is direct access to the sea with beautiful beaches. If you are really into like water activities such as myself and Luke, if you like swimming, if you like, you know, walking on the lake or whatever it might be, this is really the place to be for you. Our host was actually saying yesterday that the best tour to take for the winter time, for the summertime, sorry, not for the winter time, is to go from Shkodra to the Komani Lakes, go from there to Valbona, Teth, and then basically back to Shkodra. It's like a nice round trip where you can do loads of hiking and you see loads of beautiful nature and lakes and everything. I think the Komani Lakes are a must-see for Albania as well. If you are looking for things to do here in the area, there's definitely a few. There's, for example, the Mesi Bridge, which is an old Ottoman bridge. We saw a similar one when we were out in Permet, actually. Like at least from the pictures, it looks similar and they are absolutely stunning. And the way they were built it's just so unique. Then around Shkodra, you have Rozafa Castle as well that you can enter and you can take a tour there. I think it's about 400 lek per person for the entry. Then there is the Venetian Mask Factory and the Museum of Photography that you can have a look at here in the area. Absolutely beautiful.
So guys, what we want you to do is to drop it down in the comments. What do you think is the winner? Tirana or Shkodra? Where are you going to visit first when you come to Albania? We are very curious to find that out. So let us know down in the comments. My name is Luke.
My name is Naomi.
We are Nalu Adventures and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Thanks for watching.
Ciao.